This episode of the Nerd Corporation podcast may contain spoilers and explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, nerds. This is Wacko, and you're listening to the Nerd Corp podcast because you know what's worth listening to. Bye.
Welcome to the Nerd Corporation.
Everybody, it's Thursday. You know what that means.
Podcast Day!
Oh my god! No. You guys, wait, no, one of you said it. Who said Podcast Day?
Me.
Ah, it is! It's Podcast Day!
Good job, Nick.
Thank you.
Oh boy. One of us finally got it. Fuck. Welcome to episode 128. My Pubba says, my Pubba says, we are going to be reviewing Sweet Tooth, the newest DC adaptation. Yes, is the word that I'm looking for. Yeah. Just going to talk about what we thought about it, how we liked it, and all that good stuff. But first, let's get on with the nerd news. A new Transformers movie.
Yeah.
No way.
A new Transformers movie. So the director of Creed 2, and I don't know how to say his name, so I hope I don't butcher it. It's Stephen Caple Jr.
That's so wrong.
Yeah, it's probably Capel or some shit like that. Capile. He will be directing Transformers Rise of the Beasts.
But will there be any Linkin Park tracks in it?
I hope so.
Will there be any Mark Wahlberg?
I don't know.
So we're getting like the
Beast Wars.
Beast ones, like which
Yeah.
were really fucking cool.
Yeah, those were my favorite ones. Like,
I mean, the Dino ones were my favorite ones, but
mine were the Beast Wars one with Optimus Primal.
Yeah.
And those were dope.
I had a really I remember I got it. It was like something they gave away in like a box of cereal, but it was like a Beast Wars like CD-ROM video game that just, it was one of those games that like ran on your like the first computer your family ever bought, you know,
Right.
like Windows 98 and shit. But it was like actually, it was maybe like a 30-minute game tops, but it was like actually pretty, it was like a third-person shooter like with Beast Wars, and it was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, so he says, we want to deliver a film that has the scale and spectacle of the Bay films with the heart and humor we were able to achieve in Bumblebee and Shia LaBeouf's relationship with Bumblebee in the Bay films. So, hopefully that works out well.
Do you remember the super racist characters in the second movie?
The
little Transformers.
Yeah, the convertibles. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't...
Those are great.
Were their
Those
characters, like, racist, or were they actually, like, racist?
That was great. Those are great characters, Michael Bay. Good job.
look, Michael Bay excels at one thing and one thing only.
Selling a motherfucking movie.
Nope. Explosions!
Yeah, I was gonna say, are there gonna be lots of explosions?
Hey.
Michael Bay explosions!
I'll tell you what, bro. I've never said no to a Michael Bay film.
I
I'll tell you
absolutely have.
I have not.
I'm good. I'm good with that Michael Bay.
He just is like the most hardcore man director ever. Like explosions and tits and midriff and fucking... Like, it's... Michael Bay's ridiculous, dude.
So, anyways, were the characters racist, or were they saying racist things?
They were saying racist things,
Okay,
but they were like racist caricatures. They were like both of the
Like Dr. Seuss.
both of the Transformers were like little hood rats.
I honestly don't remember, so...
Yeah, I can't remember the things that they said, but I just remember thinking like, whoa.
Yeah, I try
That
not
was
to
a little uncalled for.
I try not to remember much of those movies outside of the first one.
I'm very fortunate then.
I think my favorite Transformer movie was the third one, Dark of the Moon. It had that Korean comedian from The Hangover. Do you remember him?
Oh, Ken Jeong?
Ken Jeong, yeah, he was in the third movie.
Oh, that I remember, yeah.
Yeah.
Which one had the main bad guy, that Starscream or whatever?
I mean,
Starscream was
in the first one.
He was in the first
Was he?
one, but he was an important bad guy in the second movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the Fallen. Remember the old Fallen guy?
Okay, no, yeah, okay.
That's the one with the Transformer that like dug in the sand and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the construction ones. I like those ones too.
That one, the second movie was, I know this is a big tangent, but the second movie was also the one where it had the big, like, bulldozer one that was crawling on top of the pyramids, and the one guy looks up at it, and it's got, like, a big set of balls. They're, like, two wrecking balls, like, going together, and it's, like, nice.
Yeah. Good job, Michael Bay.
That's what he does.
Michael fucking Bay, dude.
Good fucking job.
He directed the Bad Boys movies.
Those movies are good.
I love those movies.
I don't care what anybody says, dude.
I love those movies.
I haven't seen the third one yet, though.
Third one's good. I liked it.
Dude, the second one was probably my favorite one.
Yeah.
It's not just like, hey, we're old now. It's not, like, there's none of that. Like,
well, I mean, there is. There's a little bit of it.
Is there a back joke in there anywhere? Like a bad back joke?
I think so.
Yeah. Am I right?
Do they ever say I'm getting too old for this shit? No?
Depressing news, and I'll try and say it as upbeat as possible.
Maybe I don't think you should do that.
Yeah, I would advise against that.
Yeah. So Joel Burgess, he is I should say was, because he was the lead level designer on Fallout 4, and he was the owner of River, the dog who played Dogmeat, and River has sadly passed away as of today, I believe.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Poor Dogmeat.
What a bummer, man.
Big time.
How old? I think I saw something that said he was 14 years old.
Well, it's a
That's-
girl, right?
That's pretty old for a German Shepherd.
Yeah, for a German.
Well, rest in peace, River. You are loved by all Fallout fans, I'm sure.
He was really the only companion that I could stand.
Yeah, same here.
So I think there was another one named Kate who I really liked, and that was my romance.
Oh, was she the one that you find in the
fighting
cage fighting?
ring? Yeah.
She was badass.
Yeah.
The redhead?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. For my news, we are getting another attempted spin-off for Supernatural. I mean, we've had 2 attempts already, both of which didn't get greenlit to series.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Third time's a charm.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
I saw what you did there.
Hey.
But, yeah, so they are looking to make a series basically going back in time and looking at John and Mary Winchester and how they got together. And, of course, they'll be saving the world and all that jazz. But Jensen Ackles and Daniel Ackles, I'm assuming it's Daniel, it's Daneel. Anyway, so the couple is executive producing the series, and Jensen Ackles will be narrating the story from, Dean's point of view.
Oh, okay.
Does it say anything about, is Jeffrey Dean Morgan coming back?
Well, I don't think it would be Jeffrey Dean Morgan, because any time that they showed their dad back in the day, it was a different
younger
actor. Yeah, it was
That's
a different,
right.
It was a different actor.
Oh, okay, yeah, no,
Right.
that makes sense now.
So I don't think so. I mean, if the series goes for a while and gets to where they're older age, maybe. But yeah, so he'll be narrating from the point of view of Dean. When he was interviewed about it, Jensen Ackles said, after Supernatural wrapped its 15th season, we knew it wasn't over because, like we say in the show, nothing ever really ends, does it? So when they formed their own production company, Chaos Machine Productions, and that was the first thing they wanted to do. So they've just made this new production company, Jensen and his wife, and that's their first thing out of the gate.
That's rad.
Yeah, so he said that he always felt like Dean would have wanted to know more about his parents' relationship and how it came to be. So, he wants to go for that. The original creator of Supernatural, Eric Kripke, cheered the news, apparently, saying, or tweeting, when Jensen Ackles first told me the story, I loved it. He and Danielle Harris and R. Thompson are the perfect people to make it. and that's really all he was saying. But yeah, I mean, it talks here about how John and Mary were portrayed as young adults by Matt Cohen and Amy Gumenick, I don't know, while Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Samantha Smith played the grown-up versions. And he said it's unclear who will reprise their roles, and
It'd be cool if they got the...
or if they'll be recast altogether.
If they got the younger versions of them to come
I mean,
back.
that would be really cool to have them reprise their roles if they can get them. So, this, like I was saying, this is the third attempted spin-off to Supernatural. They did a pilot called Bloodlines, and then one called Wayward Sisters. I don't think that I ever followed much on Bloodlines, but Wayward Sisters was basically about all of the women that they had encountered in the show on a recurring basis that then got brought into the fold of knowing about hunting and the life.
Okay.
So people like Charlie, who was played by Felicia Day. There's a sheriff, I forget her name, that they encounter a couple of times, and then they're like, yeah, by the way, monsters are real. And so she sort of takes over in helping them out and giving them cases, but also later down the line when they meet other females who need like a role model, you know, somebody in charge, like their parents had died, they sent them to her. And so like it was going to be a series kind of all about their little cadre of people. But yeah, neither one of them got series orders. So apparently in this article it said that Tom Welling also said in a cameo message to a fan that Michael Rosenbaum, who was Lex Luthor in Smallville, of course, and I are actually working on an animated series to bring those characters back to life and use as many of the original cast members as possible. That's a fucking bombshell to put at the end of this article.
A Supernatural animated series?
No, Smallville.
Smallville.
Oh, I thought... That confused me. How did we get...
Well, it was just, it's the final paragraph says Supernatural isn't the only veteran CW series.
Oh, I was like,
So, yeah.
I was listening, and then all of a sudden I heard, and Tom Welling from Smallville, and I'm like, wait,
Hold on.
how did we make that transition?
Now, so here's the other interesting part about this news. You know, anyone who is an astute thinker, I guess, would probably wonder why Jared Padalecki wasn't mentioned at all in the article. So apparently, supposedly, he's not a part of it.
Did he finally die? Like, for good?
No.
Sorry.
You're so dumb!
I thought it was funny.
So apparently, hours after that news broke, that they were doing the prequel spin-off for the CW, of course, because why wouldn't it be? Apparently, shortly after that, Jared Padalecki made a tweet and said, dude, happy for you. Wish I heard about this some way other than Twitter. I'm excited to watch, but bummed that Sam Winchester had no involvement whatsoever.
Well, I mean, how, though? How could he get involved?
Well, I mean, how could he not? Because here's the thing. If Dean's involved in a prequel...
Right, but Dean's the narrator.
Right. Yeah, but
They
I
could
mean...
both narrate.
Yeah, they could both take parts in it. Like, there are definitely ways that it could be done.
I think it would be cool if it, like, I'm sure it's going to be like Dean's just telling the story, but if they were like, it's almost as if they were telling the story like to us, like just them talking, you know, like back and forth.
Yeah, totally.
Or like if you were just kind of just eavesdropping on their conversation about how the story went.
Well, especially because, I mean, even at, you know, bare minimum, it could be them. Did you watch much Supernatural, guys?
I didn't.
No.
I think I'm somewhere in like season 9, maybe.
What about...
I made it pretty far, but I fell off pretty fast after the angels and stuff.
Okay. So there's toward the, like, basically the end third of the series, they're based in a bunker that was built by a group of men called the Men of Letters, right? And so basically these guys are intellectual counterparts, I guess, if you want to call them that. The intellectual counterparts to hunters. They don't hunt. That's beneath them. They're like, you know, they're this clandestine organization that's just a group of intellectuals that keep all the lore and learn all that they can about monsters and everything like that. And then if something needs to be taken care of, they send it over to some hunters and go, here you go, fucking take care of this.
Yeah.
So these guys all died out. They were all killed off, like in the 50s, I think. And so they find their bunker through a whole series of events, and that's where they're staying. So it would totally be cool if, you know, Dean and Sam as adults are sitting in there and find some sort of information about their parents and sit there going through, like, sifting through this information and learning about their parents.
Gotcha.
I mean, that would be a really easy way to do it.
Right.
But yeah, and people are asking Jared Padalecki if it's a joke. And so he responded and said, no, it's not. This is the first I've heard about it. I'm gutted.
Yikes.
So either it's a joke and he's super committed to it, or they just didn't give a fuck.
Bummer, dude.
Yeah, which I would be gutted too. I mean, you spend what was it, 15 seasons?
15 years?
Yeah, 15 years of a series with a dude just to be like completely and utterly left out of the loop.
Just be blindsided by it by
gotta
some
be.
kind of second-hand way.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of bad blood happening.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like, I mean, if there was bad blood, would he be so blindsided? I mean,
Yeah, who knows?
yeah, who knows? But anyway,
That could just be a charade, though.
yeah, I mean, it's true. Like I said, it totally could still be.
It's not a very funny joke.
Well, it reminds me a lot of why Seth Rogen won't work with James Franco anymore. Like, something happened.
Well,
Well,
the reason
all
why
those
he's
sexual assault
yeah.
allegations.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it reminds me of it.
Yeah.
Not identically.
Well,
but
right.
It just reminds me of it.
I do have two more small pieces of news. This one's more just because it really makes me happy and it's something I've always loved. But so Conan O'Brien is doing his final, like, he's off a late night. He's gone. He's done. On his final episode, Paul Rudd came, crashed an interview that
Bill Hader.
Conan was doing with Bill Hader, and he came over because I don't know if people listening aren't aware. Paul Rudd, anytime he would come on Conan to promote a movie, didn't matter what the fuck the movie was, and he did this for over a decade. But it didn't matter what the movie was. He would say, all right, so here's a clip from my new movie. Check it out. And it would always be not just a clip from a totally different movie, the same clip every time. It was always the same clip from Mac and Me, where the little boy in the wheelchair is cruising down this hill like uncontrollably.
Oh, yeah.
And he flies off the cliff and falls into the water. He showed that clip every time. And he was like, the best part is he has absolutely no connection to that movie.
Yeah.
He wasn't the little boy in it. He didn't produce it. He didn't have any, like, it's nothing that anyone from his family was in.
That's fine.
It's just so anyway, he crashed the interview, and he was like, so it was the best part, because he was like, yeah, so when I was deciding that this is what I was going to do, because this is the first time he's ever talked candidly about it. All the rest of the times he's been like, what? I don't get it. This is the clip from my new movie.
Yeah.
And like, he always feigned ignorance. But this time he was like, all right, yeah, so when I was deciding to do this, it was between this clip and a different one from a different movie. And, obviously I ended up going with the Mac and Me clip. But like, the other one was really good, and it's a movie really dear to my heart. And Conan was like, well, what was it? And he's like, well, do you want to see the clip?
And it's the same
And it's the
clip.
same clip.
There was another part in the interview where after he crashed it, because I watched this, and they were talking about the joke that the sketch that Bill Hader came up with that was just terrible, and Paul Rudd's like, well, luckily
I have a clip.
we film the dress rehearsals, and so let's take a look at that. Same fucking clip.
Yeah, so he not only did it once, but he did it 2 times in this last
awesome.
interview.
That's
It was
great.
So good.
So amazing.
What a great send-off.
Right?
Yeah.
So beautiful. Finally, we got a new trailer for Shang-Chi
Yes.
on Thursday? Was it Thursday?
So last week this Thursday that passed as of the day of this recording.
Which was hilarious because how I found out about the trailer was because they put out a trailer for the trailer.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, they put out this little thing that
Like
had
a little teaser.
Yeah, a little teaser, and they were like, "Yeah, our trailer's coming out tonight." I was like, "Oh, all right, a trailer for the trailer. That's wonderful."
Wait, so it's not this?
Yeah, this isn't the trailer, is what you're telling me. But that's it. That's my nerd news.
Tobey Maguire, also known as the best Spider-Man, returns to movies after 7 years.
Oh god.
The last movie that he was in 2014, and it was Pawn Sacrifice.
Look, I'll give you that he's the best of the worst Spider-Man, but that's about all.
So, before we delve too much into the dishonesty...
Erroneous!
The straight up slander.
Heresy!
No, it is valid. 100% valid.
It goes Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire.
Absolutely.
That's how
Andrew
it goes.
Garfield was the worst.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
guys-
I disagree that
You
he's the
can
worst.
be as wrong as you want, as much as you want, but not in this house.
Well, I've only spoken truth, so I think
Peter
I'm good.
Parker, Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield. That's my opinion. That's
Amen.
my opinion!
Peter
Amen.
Parker?
Yes, Peter Parker, and Peter Parker.
It was because you said Peter Parker,
Yeah.
Tom Holland.
I was confused.
Those are 2 different people, right?
I-
Peter Parker was the best Peter Parker.
Spider-Man!
Peter Parker was
Tom
such a terrible
Holland,
Spider-Man.
Andrew
though.
Garfield.
God.
Spider-Man, Tom Holland, Peter Parker.
I mean, Spider-Man was the best Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Hands down. Hands down.
Did you guys ever see that movie, Brothers? With
Oh,
Tobey
yeah.
Maguire
Wanna say
and
yes?
Jake Gyllenhaal?
Oh,
Mark
no,
Wahlberg,
actually
too.
I didn't.
Or no,
No.
that was 4 Brothers.
Yeah, you're thinking of Four Brothers.
Yeah.
I fucking love that movie. That, if you haven't seen that
Because
movie...
you're such a simp for Jake Gyllenhaal.
I love Jake Gyllenhaal, but fucking Tobey Maguire's acting in that movie is top fucking notch.
I'm not saying that Tobey Maguire is a bad actor because
I'm
he's
Right.
not.
I'm not saying that either. This is a full-on movie recommendation. Like,
Oh.
it's really, really fucking good.
The direction he was given, particularly in the third one,
Yeah.
was fucking ass.
Oh, yeah.
Awful.
That one wasn't good, but
I'm
the
not
first
talking
and second.
about Spider-Man anymore. I'm talking about Brothers.
I don't care.
It's
Brothers is
it's
a
all
great
fucking
Hey, this was
related.
my nerd news.
Yeah.
I will just say that the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies have probably what is my favorite part about those movies, and that's when Bruce Campbell is the usher keeping Peter Parker out of the play.
Yeah.
And Bruce Campbell was interviewed about that, and he said, Sam Raimi was interviewed, and they said, "Why did you go with Bruce Campbell?" And he's like, "Because he's the only guy that can defeat Spider-Man."
No way.
Yeah,
And he did.
Big cab.
put that in your Tom Holland movies.
Pizza time.
You late.
First Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie was the only good one.
It was. I agree.
I mean, you guys are allowed to have your opinions, but it doesn't argue, or it doesn't hold a candle to
Doesn't
fact.
There's a whole there. I bet you there are plenty of
Look-
internet boards that
Look,
are.
there's an hour and a half long movie of evidence that proves I'm fucking right.
I mean, you can think that.
I know that. I know that.
I mean, Jesus was killed for telling the truth, so
So
I'll die on this hill, I guess.
Oh God.
that's,
You'll die on the hill with Jesus, or
Yeah,
You'll die on this cross if you will.
yeah, bro.
Did you see the passive aggression of the Christ?
No, no.
It's this meme. I saw it on Facebook today, but it's just Jesus like with this like they messed with his face and stuff, and he's like, "No, I'll bear this cross. It's fine."
So, I'm on Bo Burnham TikTok
Oh,
because
nice.
because I loved his Inside special so much,
It was amazing.
and so every time I hear a song on TikTok from that show, I heart it. And there's one video that is like, it's of All Eyes on Me, and it's with like the blue lights that he has on when he's singing that song, and someone painted it, and he looked really similar to Jesus. And so I told Cole that I was going to print that picture out and give it to both my mom and my grandma and just see if they like just believe that it's Jesus.
Like the Obi-Wan.
Yeah, exactly. I love the fact that people are giving their parents and grandparents paintings of Obi-Wan, and they're just like, oh, Jesus.
Saying that the Sam Raimi movies are the best ones is like me saying that
Fast and Furious is still good.
Yeah.
But you still say it.
It's not even the same.
It's totally the same.
You know, we were past that.
We were perfectly
That was out of
content.
pocket,
We
Eddie.
were completely content with not talking about the Fast and the Furious, and your bitch ass still finds a way to
you
shove
go see
that
the movie?
into the fucking conversation.
Well, just like people keep shoving Fast and Furious movies down our goddamn throats.
This
like
just
you keep
in.
shoving the Sam Raimi movies down our throat.
I am not shoving any sort of phallic object anywhere near you, okay?
3 Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. 9 Fast and Furious movies.
I mean,
Because
that
they
horse
just can't
was
get
dead
it
a
right.
long time
Yeah.
ago. Like a long time ago.
I
That
know.
horse was dead after the 4th movie.
But that's what I'm saying, is that saying that these were the best ones is like me saying that all the Fast and Furious movies are great.
Okay.
Just as much as the
I
first
won't-
one.
But you're a fake ass fan because you haven't even seen the movie yet.
Look, I will give you that the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies are not the worst movies in existence. They're not. But are they the best Spider-Man? Is that the best Spider-Man series? Holy fucking God, are you kidding me? No.
Y'all act like Tobey Maguire kicked your trike in a ditch.
After he got the black suit.
Y'all just a bunch of salty ass Sallies up in here, man.
What? No, it's...
And
it's-
you're dick riding him like a conservative on Ben Shapiro.
Oh!
Really not, though. Like, I'm just chilling, bro.
Because every time we bring it up, it's just, yeah, but the Sam Raimi ones were the best ones.
Like, they so weren't.
Yeah,
they so
they
weren't.
really
Not
weren't.
even the first
They
one.
so were, bro.
No, they were not.
And if you ever wonder why I do it, just look at the look on your face right now. It's fucking awesome. I love it. I drink it up. It's my nectar. I keep going. I keep going off of you, off of your discomfort, off of your distaste.
So you agree with me? You just want to see me? You
I
just
don't
want to see
agree
me
with you.
reaan.
I don't agree.
No,
with you.
you agree
That's
with me.
what you just
did-
said.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
that's pretty much what you
just
said.
said.
I wholeheartedly disagree with you.
Right. So you do it to disagree with me, not to see the look on my face.
No.
I
The
think
look
what
on your
he's
face
saying...
is just a byproduct, and it just makes it so much sweet. It makes it so much sweeter just to just see this look on your face of pure hatred for me, because I'm taking
You
something
are
that
taking this way too far. Like I don't
I'm
care
taking
that
something
much.
that you've loved your whole fucking life, and I'm telling you, the Sam Raimi movies are the best part.
I mean, you're
The
wrong.
best part.
You're wrong. You're wrong. It's okay. You can be wrong.
Ba 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 ba.
Before we get to the subject of the hour, if you're listening to us on YouTube, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. We want to beat the algorithm and get into as many nerdy ears as possible. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our Patreon, where we have tiers as low as $1. And you can listen to all of our uncut episodes. So, Sweet Tooth, what'd you guys think?
Love it.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Probably my favorite Twisted Metal character.
I see what you did. Well, I mean, did you guys, were Cole and Angela, were you guys able to see it all the way through?
Yeah. Yes.
Last of Us, the furries.
So I was really hesitant about it before we even had decided as a group that we were going to watch it, because seeing all of the promos for it, you just see these freaky furry babies, and that didn't appeal to me personally because I thought it was creepy, and I really hope that I don't get hate for this 10 years down the road, but I don't want to indulge in furry culture, I guess. But it wasn't furry culture. It was nothing like that.
Yeah,
it was
it had
just,
nothing.
it was so cool, honestly. I loved it.
I will say, the WB logo made me uncomfortable.
Just the furry logo.
Yeah, it was because it was the regular logo, but all of the blank space was hair.
Right.
And I was like,
I'll wait until you see the thumbnail I got planned for this.
oh no.
Oh, Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
no.
Nick, you only made it 4 episodes in. It just wasn't your flavor, or
That, and I just had, like, because I have my streams, like, right after I get off work on, like, Monday and Wednesday, so it kind of, I didn't have very much time to watch it, because there was, like, 8 episodes, and they're, like, 45 minutes a piece.
Don't forget to check out Optical Beard.
Thank you. But
Shameless plug.
wasn't even my shameless plug either. Yeah, I didn't quite find the time to do it, but I mean, it wasn't that I didn't like it. I mean, yeah, I just didn't get around to watching more of it. I'll probably end up, like, at some point finishing it after this, even though we'll be talking about it, but
Your lack of, like, gung-ho desire to see it kind of reminded me of, I mean, not that this is how you feel about it, but it reminded me of, again, fucking IT Crowd, where she asked him if he'd seen a movie. The Jen asked Roy if he had seen a movie, and he was like, "No, it's heartwarming." It just like, I love that. His response was like, "Absolutely not. There's, like, people caring and shit."
I'm also in the, well, I'm not in the middle, but I'm almost done with one of my, well, it hasn't been annual since they put it on HBO Max, but it used to be annual. My Friends binge.
Ah.
I'm almost done with that, so that's taken up a lot of my time, but I'll probably go back and finish this TV show at some point.
Speaking of HBO Max, I was surprised that they didn't pick up this show because it's Warner Brothers,
right.
which
Right.
is super weird.
Oh, if they picked up the show, like, the way that fucking shit-ass app runs, I wouldn't have even tried to watch this show.
So, it doesn't run bad when, like, streaming it with, like, Chromecast and stuff, but the PlayStation version does
Well, yeah, that's
suck.
what I'm saying. Like, I will usually get on HBO Max, like, either from my TV or my Comcast little Flex thing, because it works perfectly on those.
Yep.
But
Yeah, I was gonna say I have a Flex and it works.
I'll be,
great.
like, in the middle of a Friends episode, and they'll be like, "Oh, something went wrong."
Yeah.
I'm like, "What?"
And it's still playing in the background.
yeah, and then
it's
you
like
hit,
the
so you hit OK,
translucent-
and it's like, "Sorry," and it
and
takes
then it
you out.
sends you out.
What did I
yeah.
miss? What did I miss?
Dude, I had to watch In the Heights in, like, 4 different parts because of that shit.
Jesus.
Yeah, like 4 times in watching that movie, it was like, "Oops, sorry, it went wrong," like in the middle of a song, and I'm just like, "Well, this is immersion."
Do you think they're just, like, oblivious to it happening? Because it's been happening for quite a while.
I think so.
How could you be by this point though? Like, I'm sure plenty.
They're like, fuck the PlayStation users.
I'm sure plenty of people have complained about it.
I'm thinking
sure.
of pulling an Eddie and just tweeting them every
Oh,
day
yeah. Until they
shit
fix
gets
it.
fixed. Yeah.
Do
And
it.
then when it gets fixed, I could be like, I wonder if I
It was me all along.
You could just tweet out, "You're welcome."
Yeah.
You're welcome, world. So, let's get into the characters. First voice you hear is the narrator, who's played by James Brolin, which is Thanos' dad.
Yep.
Josh Brolin's dad. Aditya Singh, who is played by Adil Akhtar. He is known for movies like Enola Holmes and Utopia. Also, a movie called Four Lions and The Big Sick. Like, those are the big movies that he's known for. And I think he does.
It's funny that he was in a movie called The Big Sick.
Yeah.
about
You're,
the sick.
you're perfect.
Yeah.
We also have Gus, who is played by Christian Convery, I think. He is 8-year-old Joey in Venom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Venom.
Cannot wait for that second movie.
Yeah, same here.
Anyway.
We've also have Nonso Anozie, who plays Tommy Jeopard.
Oh.
And he is known for...
He's known for being so nosy.
Yeah. He plays the captain in the Cinderella live-action movie. Artis in Conan the Barbarian.
Oh shit.
He is Mighty Jin in Dragon Rider. Domovy, I forgot, or Domovoy in Artemis Fowl. He was in one of my favorite movies of 2019, which was Guava Island, the movie that Childish Gambino did with Rihanna.
So what you're saying is he's not known.
He's not. No, what he does. He does a lot of TV, like
Yeah.
the show Zoo, like very like niche.
Right.
Very niche.
Is this Big Man?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
Man. He's actually in an episode of Doctor Who
Mm.
as Hydroflex.
Oh. Okay.
Get in the flax.
Get in the flask. Adrian.
We got Stefania Lavi Owen, who is Bear. She plays Beth in Krampus.
Oh.
I think that's
never
like one of the
saw
things that
Krampus.
she's known for. Flora in The Lovely Bones.
That was a good movie.
See, that was one I wanted to watch and never got around
Oh,
to.
it was
Mark
great.
Wahlberg.
Stanley Tucci in that movie.
Stanley Tucci is fucking great. I love Stanley Tucci.
Eliza Villani, who plays Ronnie. She was in an episode of The Twilight Zone. She was in that movie Upload.
Jordan Peele Twilight Zone or the Twilight Zone?
Yeah, gotta
Twilight
be
Zone?
Jordan Peele.
Yeah, it's the Jordan Peele
Okay.
Twilight Zone, yes. She was in the revamp of Charmed.
There was a revamp of Charmed?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how unknown that was.
Yeah. And
Right?
yet this-
I didn't even know there was a live action version of Cinderella.
Oh, there's many. Like a
I mean,
Cinderella story and another Cinderella story and
And the third Cinderella story.
And then there's also that TV show where they kind of where it's like
Ella
all,
Enchanted.
all of the fairy tales together. What was that one
Oh,
called?
Once?
Was
It was
it
just called Once,
What-
yeah.
Yeah.
We have Naledi Murray. She plays Wendy, the cute girl with the pig nose.
Oh right.
She was in 7 Seconds, First Wives Club, Tommy and the Undoing. Like, that's what she's known for as far as IMDb is concerned.
They're just like, that's all we got.
We don't know.
And of course, Will Forte is
Mhm.
Pubba, which was weird for me.
What a surprise.
Right?
A pleasant surprise for me, because I fucking love him.
He
Will
kills it.
Forte's amazing.
He kills it.
He does.
So, what did we think? What were some of your guys' like standout moments?
Well, I didn't realize that it was a DC title.
I didn't either until you just barely said that at the start.
Yeah, Vertigo, DC Vertigo, did the comic book. They did them in like little arcs. The first grouping of it is called Out of the Woods, and the comic book is such a contrast to the TV show.
Really?
There's no mention of a Pubba. There's no explanation as to how they got into the woods.
Uh-huh.
It's just daddy. Like, his daddy taught him that. And there were these, like, super heavy religious overtones. Where he was like, oh, you know, all there is outside of the forest is sinning. And if you go out there, you're a sinner. Pretty much just, like, shaming him into staying into the
Okay.
forest. Big Man is white
In the comics.
in the comics. Big
Okay.
Man is white. And he's just this crotchety old bastard. Just doesn't give a shit about anything. Actually, in the comics, he delivers him to the militia.
Really?
Yeah, he
Oh,
takes
wow.
it and he delivers him to the militia because
The Last Man.
the last man because the last man had the skeleton of his wife,
Oh, Jesus.
and so in order for him to get the skeleton of his wife, he had to turn Gus in, and then he took the skeleton and took her home because he had made her a promise that no matter what happened, he was going to take her back home. So it was pretty wild to read that.
Yeah.
And then I was just reading, like, I got as far as meeting Dr. Singh, and Dr. Singh is just like, yeah, I've done a lot of horrible shit. Like, in the comics, he goes along with using the adrenal glands and
Yeah, like he's not hesitant.
Yeah,
and
yeah, at all.
Having like a moral,
yeah,
issue with what's going on.
yeah. He's just like, I've done such bad shit, and I really just want to find this cure. And so he realizes right before he cuts into Gus that he doesn't have a belly button, and that he was created. So it's pretty crazy.
So that's a lot more dark.
It's very dark.
Yeah.
That was my first initial thing that kind of conflicted with me is it seems like there's conflicting tones with the show.
Mm-hmm.
I made a Last of Us joke in the beginning, but it's more like God of War, and it's in terms of what I feel is as similar. You know what I mean?
Because he's not tasked with taking Gus with him. He just is like, all right, whatever. Like,
yeah, just the overall bones of I have to deliver this person from this part of the country to this part of the country so that he can be experimented on, so that we can find a cure. Like, that's 100%.
well, yeah,
But apart, like, that's really where the similarity to Last of Us ends.
And that's like the main thing for me too, is that I do think it creates a believable world. Actually, I had a thought where I was like, this is probably the most accurate representation of like what our world would be like in a post-apocalyptic setting. It wouldn't just be, I mean, obviously in most situations it would be kill or be killed, you know what I mean? But I feel like there would still be like some civility in certain areas of the world.
Right.
Like, obviously there's like the train system. Of course the trains would still run. You know, all this shit. They'd still have electricity. Like, it's not like this would completely, especially if it was a fucking virus, like it would just take everything out, but it, you know, you'd still have like the amenities and stuff.
Right.
And that was kind of the main thing, is like it kind of wanted to have its cake and eat it too. Like, it wanted to display this big dark world where a lot of evil shit's happening, but also at the same time, like, that tone really isn't there. Like, and this is just a personal gripe. I don't really even think it's a negative, because like, I think like if you're gonna, I feel like this is an attempt to try and normalize post-apocalyptic storytelling. Like, it's like, hey, it's not nearly as hard as you think it is. Like, you can have it for a younger audience where it's like not, you know, it's not the fucking road. You know, it's not something fucking horrible that's going to give you nightmares forever.
Right.
Like, I think that they were trying to at least get a PG-13 rating for this. And I feel like that just kind of clashes, like, tonally. Because, like, you want to have this big, scary world, but, like, you have to be able to back it up. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm sure part of it lends to, you know, the fact that they do want to go for, or have it palatable for a younger audience. But I think more than that, too, is that it kind of is just a classic movie trope where you want clearly defined good guys and bad guys. Right. You know what I mean? Even if, yes, the good guys may have done bad things in their past, like Big Man, you still want to make it very clear who the protagonists are and who the antagonists are.
Right.
That's, you know, you don't, like, I think there are great ways to do it, but I think most movies are really shy away from, or most shows and movies shy away from that, because it's just, I feel like there's a lot more work that goes into it when you want to do something like muddy those waters.
Right. And just the contrast between the TV show and the comic book, whereas the comic book is very grisly and very violent and very dark. They take these overtones with the TV show to just kind of make it a little more palatable. I mean, you get maybe 4 or 5 acts of violence in the entire series, and I mean, I feel like it's easier for a wider audience. You know, they don't throw it into like this niche little box.
I actually ended up recommending this to both my mom and my grandma, because the general tone of this show is so heartwarming and hopeful.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very hopeful apocalyptic world. Like, the world is healing itself. I just thought that the whole season was just super easygoing. And
Yeah, absolutely.
What I watched of this, I was just like, this looks like I'm watching like a movie. But it's like, and then I'm like, oh wait, no, this is a series, and I have another episode after.
Yeah,
this.
it's very cinematic.
Yeah.
It's very pretty.
So if you guys had to choose to be a hybrid, what hybrid would you be?
Cat girl all the way.
Cat girl?
Horse.
Yeah, you would.
Horse. Dig too big.
Derek, I see you as an owl because you're very knowledgeable.
Smarty pants.
Shut up.
Nerd. Ha!
Fucking nerd. Got him.
Hell, it
Got him.
Got his ass.
Nick, you go. I got
Ella got him.
I don't know. You see that one in like the beginning of the first episode where they're kind of explaining, and it shows all the babies in the little
Incubators.
baby room.
baby room.
The baby room. You got
It's where the babies
you
go.
got your fucking baby room.
You got a room. You put the babies in there.
It's the baby room.
I got a baby room for you right here. This fucking big.
You got your bada bing and your bada boom.
But that brings up Bobby. Bobby. That shit was terrifying.
Bobby?
Yes.
Bobby was creepy.
Yeah.
Bobby?
Unnerved me.
The little
Gopher kid.
Oh yeah, like I thought that was interesting that they brought in like different states of hybridization.
Well, Cole
Or
asked.
levels, I guess. Different.
Cole
levels.
asked, "Do they like turn into like full like animals at the end of their lives?"
don't-
And I'm like, "No, because they're all
No.
under the age of 10."
Yeah.
Dude, the one that fucked me up was the lizard
The
kid at the
the
end.
gecko
I
kid
was
or
like,
the
yeah, you can
chameleon kid.
experiment on that.
So-
one.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, "Yeah, go for it."
So I don't know what the room is called, but it's where all the babies are kept. when
The
they're
baby
born.
room.
The baby
Baby
room.
room.
Newborn room.
And they're showing like
the NICU, the NICU. Yes.
No, that's for
Preemies.
Yeah, that's for.
But weren't
Yes.
they all preemies?
No.
No.
Uh-uh.
This is just the room where, like, after the baby's
The
born,
delivery room.
when the mom is, like, resting, they put him in, like, the
Yeah.
plastic crib.
Yeah.
The baby.
The
room.
baby
Just
room.
call
The
it
baby room.
The baby room.
So, in this
Baby room.
baby room, they had the one that was, like, I don't know if it was, like, a falcon baby or
I
whatever.
think it was an owl.
An owl? Okay, because I would want to be merged with, like a peregrine falcon or some shit.
That would be cool.
That was awesome.
I'd have to be able to fly, though.
A grizzly bear. I think I'd be a bear.
Little teddy bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely.
You'd be like a Teddy Ruxpin.
Right? Get ready to read with me.
And die. Fuck, I don't know what I would want to be. I mean, an owl would be cool. I also think some sort of jungle cat type thing would be cool, like a fucking panther, or something.
Yeah.
That would be rad.
What animal lives the least amount of time on the planet?
A fly.
Yeah, like
Mosquito?
insects.
That'd be kind of cool.
I'm done. I'm out.
Just a fly? I think that'd be cool.
With
Didn't
your
you see-
thousand eyes.
I just wouldn't want to be a bug.
Yeah, haven't you
Or a
seen
bird.
The Fly?
Yeah, I was like, didn't you see the Jeff Goldblum movie?
Well, yeah, but he was like transformed into it. I'm talking about being born into it.
I don't know if that would work though, Cole, because it seems to be that they have the
Non-cycle.
life cycle of a human person
Yeah.
regardless. So I think you might be shit out of luck.
Bummer.
Sorry.
Stuck to this mortal coil.
You're so dumb.
Dumb.
What fevered dream intends to tear this company in twain?
For me, I really loved the season. I thought it was great.
I can't wait for
But
more.
I will say, and this wasn't a negative for me because it was just really well done. But I do feel like there were very few twists and surprises that were actually surprising.
Right.
Like everything stood to reason. Like, yeah, of course, that's what was going to happen. Of course, Jeopard had a hybrid baby.
Yeah.
And of course, he ran away from it. Like, stuff like that.
Oh, he's starting a fire? Yeah, he's gonna get found out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the only thing that was surprising to me was that, Pubba wasn't really his dad.
Mhm.
And there was, it wasn't a mom and dad thing. I mean, it obviously was, there was a big question mark of, well, why isn't the mom with them?
Right.
But, obviously that could easily be explained by she probably got sick like everyone fucking else.
Right. My what the fuck part was finding out that Bear and Wendy are sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
that was like, whoa.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, Cole was sitting at the table eating, and he was watching it, but, like, I was, like, way more focused on it, and I was like, babe, they're sisters! And he was like, what?
They were roommates.
They were roommates.
I actually thought that, like, when I started, like, coming up with my own little theories during the season, I thought that Wendy was gonna be Jeopard's daughter. Like, I thought, like, oh, that's what's gonna happen. Like, I made that connection, but I knew that Wendy and one of the other characters were gonna be connected somehow.
Yeah.
Who's your guys' favorite character?
I like the zoo chick. She was a
Amy.
fucking badass.
Yeah.
Amy's
Amy.
really cool.
Yeah.
I think Bear is pretty cool. Bear was just this jaded person who just hated adults and realized that, and what ended up getting her kicked out of the animal gang or whatever.
Yeah.
The Animal Army.
There you go, Animal Army, that's right.
In terms of just the general character who I thought was best portrayed by the actor, I would have to go with the General.
Yeah.
General Abbott.
Yeah, he's a badass, and I dig the shit out of him.
He gave me Ben Kingsley vibes.
Yeah, well, see, like, he gave me Ben Kingsley vibes, and then also Jim Carrey in Sonic.
That's so funny because I said that. I said, hey, it's Jim Carrey's Dr. Eggman.
Yeah, it totally was.
Fun fact about that Abbott character. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a part when they start taking Dr. Singh and his wife, like when they burn the house or whatever around them, and then Abbott comes in and takes them, right? And she goes, "Oh, that's General Abbott? I thought he'd be less beardy." So that's a callback to the comic, because in the comic, he's bald with those glasses, but has no beard.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's a fun little tidbit for
Yeah.
comic readers to
Yeah.
enjoy.
Actually, quite enjoyed his beard. I thought it looked really
Yeah,
good.
dude,
It's
his beard was-
magnificent.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It really is.
He was a really good villain.
It kind of reminded me of like a longer version of your beard, Derek.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, mine is pretty sweet. Just kidding.
And humble, too.
No, my beard's not humble. My beard is very, very braggy. It's,
Really?
oh my god,
Very
it never shuts up.
braggadocious.
Such a
I'll
braggart.
just be laying there trying to go to bed, and it's like, God, I'm amazing.
Have you seen me?
Get up right now. Go look in the mirror.
Okay.
Oh, that goddamn it, you got me. All right. Oh, you're beautiful.
One of the things that I liked about the show was the sick, like just how easily identifiable it was.
Yeah.
Just the
And subtle, though.
yeah, subtle, like the shaking of the pinky and then the flu symptoms or whatever. But I think it was super cool. And another thing that I liked was just like that whole neighborhood part.
I was gonna actually say that as soon as you finished. Like, I loved that they're coming together for a nice little party, but then they immediately show, like, just how fucked in the head all of these people are from just how pervasive and pernicious, like, this disease is, that they just, at the second that you see a sign, it's done. Like, you gotta take care of it immediately.
Yeah, I love the saran wrap. That shit was
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
They saran wrap him to a chair. Yeah, going back to what you were saying about how there was no twist, that was 100% a twist for me.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. How the guy was, like, acting like he was fine, and then all of a sudden he was, he showed the pinky tripping out. Yeah, that was a total, like, just the way, like, not the way that they reacted to, like, oh my god, he's sick, and so they all, like, mask up, but the fact that they tie him to his fucking chair, and then they light the house on fire, like, it makes sense why they do it, but, like, that was a total surprise. I was like, holy fuck, there's no judge, jury, there's just execution.
It was very shocking, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was shocking, but to me, not at all surprising.
What I liked about that part was the fact that he was like, hey, no, let's bail on this party. Let's bail on this, that, and the other. And they're like, well, you saw what they did to Hanson when he bailed.
Yeah.
And you see his house burnt down and you don't know why. Like, all these people are like, why the fuck would they burn that dude's house down for not going to a party?
Like, geez, they really value participation.
Yeah. And then when that party happens, it's like, oh, they thought he was sick, or they realized.
And he was avoiding it.
Yeah, and he was avoiding it.
I loved how the Karen bitch got kicked in the chest by a horse. And
Yeah.
just immediately killed her. That was really funny.
That was shocking too.
Well, that was like another
Like,
one
that
of
was
those.
a surprise.
That was another one of those like weird moments because I was like, it wasn't your fault. Like the woman, you didn't kill the woman. It was a total accident. So like, why are you carrying her and hiding her body? Like that,
Right.
That was like 100%. I was like, that was an accident. Like as a community, you're getting together. Like none of them drove cars. All of them rode horses. So you would think that like a horse accident is not outside the realm of possibility of what's happening.
True, but you have to think about it from their perspective where, I mean, I don't know that anyone other than the Karen chick suspected them, but being suspicious because they did have the sick, they automatically feel like everyone is suspicious of them. So the second somebody dies and they're the only witnesses, if you feel suspicious, your first thing is, holy shit, everyone's going to think we did this to shut her up. Like, yeah, they immediately had to do something about it because they thought they would be the first ones blamed.
I guess you're right. The thing that killed that theory in my head was the fact like, oh, maybe they could have saved her and she still would have ratted.
Right.
That was the only thing that...
Yeah, because that's true. They didn't even try. Like,
I don't know. I still think like, oh my god, like, you know, like with the trajectory of how she landed and everything, like you very easily could have come up with the theory of like, oh yeah, she got kicked by a horse.
True, but again, like that could even still, like they may have.
All right, detective over here, motherfucker.
I'm just saying they may have made sure to make it look like an accident, but they still could have been the ones who orchestrated it. You know what I mean? So like, I'm just saying if you have a
horse,
mind,
when he comes by, when she comes by, make sure to kick as hard as you can. Don't even look. Just kick as hard
don't
as
even
you can.
look.
Shimmer, this is your time to shine,
I'm just saying, like, if you have a mind where you already feel suspected, anything that happens in your vicinity, you're afraid people are going to call you for it.
Right.
My wife has the flu. Don't look at her pinky.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
Dead bitch in the driveway.
Bitch on the driveway, the bitch in the driveway.
I don't know. That was like really the only moment in the story where I was like, yeah.
Yeah, no, the sisters thing did, like, I was like, whoa, shit. So that was one of the twists that I was like, holy fuck.
I wasn't expecting Jeopard to get sniped either.
Yeah, I mean, he's still alive, but at least for the moment.
Yeah, it's another one of those plot armor things. It's like, of course we can't kill him off yet.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened to his son. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's.
Watch the first episode of next season, they'll be like, and he died. Anyway.
I don't know. Jeopard was a really likable character.
Oh,
he
yeah.
definitely reminded me of Kratos, like in God of War. Like
Kratos and Joel even.
Can we talk about his football buddy that had CTE?
That was a
Yeah.
great fucking episode, man.
That was a great episode, and it was a really cool way to show that and
Mm-hmm.
not be heavy-handed about it.
Right.
I mean, not that I would have cared even then,
It was good storytelling.
but yeah, it was really well done.
Man, they did Jimmy wrong, bro.
They really did.
How he was like getting his fucking ass kicked and it was doing the play over of his football career.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Dude, that was fucking...
That
That
wrecked
pulled
me.
on the
Yeah.
strings,
That
dude.
wrecked me.
I'm like, you didn't even have to do him like that. You didn't have to, but you did.
One of the things that also surprised me was the fact that Pubba and Birdie weren't even that in love with each other.
No,
So Cole made a joke. He was like, "Oh, is Gus really a one-night stand baby?" And then we find out, yes, in fact, he is, because they knew each other for like a couple hours, and then all of a sudden,
oh, here's a baby for you.
yeah,
This
all
guy,
of a
man.
sudden,
And it wasn't, he
I mean,
didn't
that
even
was-
get none. It wasn't even a
He
one night
didn't
stand.
know
That was
baby.
less than a one-night stand baby, because like there was no 9 months. It
Yeah.
was just one night, boom, baby.
Yeah, he didn't get no nookie. He's still taking care of some chick's
It was
kid, man.
it was literally a one night stand.
Period.
That was like the biggest simp move in history.
Take my fucked up kid, bro.
There you go. I created this. Now you can have it.
Government fucking conspiracy. Here you go. That ends up
just
killing 1,000 people.
I was just expecting Jeff Goldblum to pop out somewhere.
Life
and be like,
finds a way.
like you weren't so worried about whether you could do it.
That part, like, actually kind of confused me because I was like, so you made this baby? You just, like, you made it. You didn't birth this baby.
It was
you
a
just,
test tube baby.
Yeah, you just made it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, she said it was an accident. Like, she was like, we accidentally did this.
And then that somehow has to do with the sick?
Well, like,
It's two sides of the same coin.
From what they're saying, that basically both things were going on at the lab. So whatever it was that they did that created Gus was, at least in my guesstimation, is they were experimenting with this one thing and they were running different experiments on it. And one of the experiments created Gus, and one of the experiments unleashed the sick.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's not like that they're both...
It's not
the
like
same
creating
thing.
Gus caused the sick.
Yeah.
It's just, I think what it is it just stems from the same source.
Yeah, there was just two different experiments that did two different things. Mm. Who was your guys' least favorite character? I hated the dude that went to go pick up Dr. Singh and his wife.
You don't like Johnny or whatever his name is?
I thought that guy was completely unnecessary to the show.
So here's the thing, though. I'm not sure that he's unnecessary. Because while he was acting like an ambivalent hard ass at the beginning, towards the end...
He seems like a double agent.
Yeah. I think he's going to play into it big time. At
So,
some point.
I think that he is Abbott's son, and that he gets, like, because he's kind of stupid, right?
Yeah, he's kind of a dummy.
Yeah, but Abbott, like, gives him all, like, these, like, important jobs, and is kind of hard on him, too.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it kind of reminds me of, like, in Austin Powers.
What, like Seth Green?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's what
Preparation H does feel good on the whole.
I would like some
call
chocolate.
It the Alan Parsons Project.
I don't know. There was just something about his personality I didn't like. I don't know if it's the actor or whatever, because I know how important that he looks to the story.
Right.
I just didn't. Something just didn't sit right.
I mean,
with me.
I can see that, and for me, like, he rubbed me the wrong way just because of how ambivalent he was, and just fuck it, I don't care. I'm whatever. Like, he didn't seem to have any moral compass, at least especially in the beginning.
Right.
But, like, not only that, but it seemed like he had like a fully, in terms of consciousness of what he was doing and conscience about what he was doing, he seemed fully detached.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, no, he kind of grew on me a little bit, though, just because of, as soon as they roll up in the truck to the compound, and he leans over and he's like, "Hey, I just wanted you to know I let your horse go, and you know, he's out.
She's free now."
Yeah. And then to go behind Abbott's back when Dr. Singh was like, "No, get me another one. I need to save this one because
I need more time.
You know, I need more time with this one." And he was just like, "Fuck, yeah, okay, fine." You know, and he just did it. Like, I think there's a lot more depth that we're going to get on him in the future, which to me is going to be really cool because, yeah, like, that's kind of the journey, you know? Like, right now we dislike him because he just seems like a completely uncaring prick, and he doesn't care what he does. Mm-hmm. But I think as it goes on, we're going to see just how much deeper it is than that, and I think that's just a facade.
Well, hopefully.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's going to be a very satisfying journey by the end.
I hope so, because I just didn't care for him at all.
Yeah.
My least favorite character has got to be Bobby.
Yeah.
Because he is just straight up frightening.
He's my favorite.
You're lying.
No, he's my favorite character of the whole show. I'll tell you right now. That little boy radiated nothing but
This
hope.
is Sam Raimi's Spider-Man all
Yeah,
over again.
yeah.
Why are you lying?
I'm not. I loved him.
No.
I loved how he was like 20% animatronics and like 80% fucking CGI.
And it just
You
looks so
You
awkward.
could always tell when it was the animatronic. I loved it. And I'm saying that unironically, like I actually like really loved it. I thought it was fucking awesome.
Fun story about Bobby in the comic books. He's not tiny. He's child sized.
Oh shit! But he's like that level of
but he's that level of transformed. He's child sized, so he's just like tall, skinny, and lanky.
He looks like
so he's Sonic.
Bobby reminded me of like the Alvin and the Chipmunks crew. Like there would be like Alvin, Theodore,
Right.
whatever the third one's name, and then Bobby.
Are you serious? Alvin, Simon, Theodore.
I forgot Simon. Okay.
Look,
Good God.
motherfucker. We are not into that.
Look, I
I'm
know-
sorry
I know
that you're
you're not
so
that old.
in
I
tune
know
with
that-
chipmunk
I know that-
culture,
Chipmunk lore.
chipmunk lore, Alvin and the Chipmunk lore, but we're not.
Fucking nerd.
Yo, that's when I was a kid. That's one of the few things we had.
Yeah, back in the 20s or what?
No, back in 1980, motherfucker.
The 40s were a long time ago, man.
Yeah, but Bobby was super tall and lanky, and like he was still furry, and he meets all of them in a cage already. Like all of these kids are already at that militia, just like how it was in the show.
Oh, so like most of them weren't hiding out at the zoo?
No, he meets them all. Like
Really?
as far as the comic progression is going, he meets
Like,
them all.
did they have the zoo?
No.
Or okay, so he just shows up at the facility and they're already there.
Yeah. So
Okay.
as far as the comic has led on, there's no.
Right.
Well, as far as I am in the comic,
Yeah.
right.
Like that could be a backstory that
Yeah,
comes
that
up
could
later.
be. Yeah, but he walks up and he walks into the cage, and there's like 6 of them only. And Wendy's, I don't know if it's Wendy, but it's a pig child. I can't tell if it's a girl or a boy yet.
Mm-hmm.
But he walks in and he goes, "I'm Gus," and he's like, "I'm Bobby," and then he like, "Oh, so you're Bobby?" He goes, "I'm Bobby, you am Gus," like in like this weird, creepy, like.
Oh, that's really unsettling.
Yeah, it was wild.
I don't really know if I have a disliked character. I think most of them pretty much do what they're supposed to do. Like I didn't find any one of them to be like disruptive to my enjoyment.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I was all over.
I would have to say his quote unquote mom's best friend from work.
Judy.
You don't like Judy?
No,
I really liked Judy.
Fuck Judy. Because
Why? Why, bro? What did she do that's got you so tilted over here, bro?
well,
She's like, I haven't seen the bitch in fucking 10 years.
Well,
I haven't seen her. She said she was looking for
Yeah,
you,
but-
and obviously she failed.
they're like asking her questions and she's just like, she's playing coy, like she's trying to keep them in the dark. And I was just like, fucking tell him, bitch. Like, come on. Like, eventually she points him to the attic, yeah. But, like, she gives them no warning. None whatsoever as far as, hey, before you go the fuck up there, you should know this is going to fuck your head hard.
Well, she
Like,
didn't know what they
nothing.
already knew.
Well,
You know?
I mean, yeah, she did, because he kept calling her his mom, and he kept talking about his dad. She fucking knew. She fucking knew. I don't like Judy. Judy
she
can suck a dick.
She didn't. There was no way of her knowing how that Gus would react to that, though.
What?
Well, yeah, because obviously his dad didn't have horns, but he did. Like, obviously there's going to be differences here.
Here's the thing. None of these kids' parents had horns or other feathers or fucking other
Hey,
shit.
bro, I went up.
Alright?
I went up to the 8th episode. Thinking,
You're gonna tell me I'm wrong, bro?
I went all the way up to the 8th episode thinking that she was a trooper and squeezed that thing out. I
Well, it
really
would've just been little nubs. I mean, they didn't come out like up like that. Judy obviously had context clues in their conversation to let her know that he had no fucking idea. So, like, and yeah, Sure, I'll roll with you on saying that she didn't know how he would react. But there's no person on the fucking earth that thinks they have parents that you're gonna say, by the way, you're a fucking lab experiment. That's not gonna have some sort of major reaction.
But you're also looking at it with hindsight, when in reality, this is just the way that they went about to tell it.
Right,
Like,
I'm
tell
just
this
saying,
story. So
I'm
it's
just
like,
saying she could have prepared him a bit.
imagine you're a YouTube consumer and you sit down and it's like there's this big revelation in the attic. But guess what? I'm going to pull you aside and I'm going to say, hey, this is the big revelation. All of it, all of it's lost. All of it's lost. All of its air. It sucks now.
I'm not saying she should have told him, like, hey, there's a shit in the attic. Guess what? It says you're a test tube baby. Like,
there's a shit in the attic. Someone shit in the attic.
Someone shit in the attic.
There is a shit in the attic.
And there's a note attached to it that says you're a test tube baby. What's going on?
Someone shit on the coats.
It's Mr. Hanky.
Someone shit in the vicinity of coats.
Oh, you're a test tube baby.
What? I mean, why not?
No, but, like, I'm saying, like, she should have been like, hey, I just want you to be prepared for this. This is going to change everything you know. Like, this is heavy stuff. So...
Right, she just gives him the key and is like, go for it.
Yeah, go explore. See what the fuck happens. I've got cameras on. I just want to watch your reaction. Throw it on YouTube. Get your reaction video.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it.
Anyway. So I didn't like her. Fuck Judy.
Judy's just a normal person, man.
She a bitch.
She's just trying to live her life. Derek's over here.
She a stank ass bitch.
Overall, what did you guys think of the show? I
loved it.
And it was funny because you really were like, I don't know if I want to watch it.
Well, I didn't know a lot about it.
Right.
But from the promo, I was not interested whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah, I actually was kind of... Like, I had zero intentions of watching it whatsoever.
Right.
Like, I had no clue what it was about, really, and I was like, eh. But then you, Eddie, were saying that, like, no, this fucking thing is awesome, and I was like, alright.
Well, the moment I saw DC, I was like, yeah, this is it. Like, alright, cool, yeah, I'll watch it. I mean, there are so many shows that you don't think are like DC
or comic
connected.
Properties at all.
Yeah, like Lucifer. Lucifer's
a
DC property,
yeah.
And so I don't know. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was very well written. It was very well shot. Like the scenery in this TV show is so beautiful.
Really great. I have an issue though. They overuse the blurry part. Do you know what I'm talking about?
He didn't like the forced perspective.
So that's a normal camera trick that they use, where the focus is on the people that are adjacent to the scene. You know what I mean? But normally everything else is in blur. But I don't really like the amount of blur. It seems like there's a ton of fucking blur, like motion blur, behind these characters. So it just makes everything look ugly. There's like it's the specific scene where there's the two guys it's the what are they called? The hazmat suit guys, and they fight. Like the one guy pulls out a vape and starts smoking. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the funny part that's like the very beginning of the 8th episode where he's just like, hey.
Yeah,
how could you not see me? I'm wearing all yellow.
That's just what they want you to think. And they're like, dang.
I love that. Like, this movie is show is so current events, and like, fuck you dumb anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking great.
You changed, Greg.
What weird dialogue. Yeah, but that's like the scene that pops into my head the most. Like, because there are some like really great wide shots of them traveling up this river that has no water in it, or has a very small stream on it, and it just like it's this wide shot of like all the forest and everything. Fucking great. Like, really, the guy that was behind the camera of this is really talented. I just don't like the amount of blur that they used in those scenes, because it just makes it just puts like this fucking ugly Vaseline filter over everything except for the two people that are in the shot.
The subjects.
That's really my only problem. And it doesn't happen all the time, but when it happens, it's really noticeable.
I loved the show so much. I mean, the only thing that I didn't like about it is an extremely common television and movie crutch. Like, I don't even want to call it anything other than a crutch. But, like, the fact where Sweet Tooth, at the beginning of his journey, is absolutely 100,000% as naive and non-understanding of how to do anything in stealth or quietness or keep a low profile as he is at the end of the journey. Like, there's no progress in his understanding of how not to be a fucking idiot.
Well, you have to realize that children's brains are super underdeveloped, and they like don't understand like consequences and stuff.
Well, right, I understand, except the fact that, like, even as a child, because what, he's like 8, right? Or
he's
10? 10? As a 10-year-old child, when you do the thing, have the negative consequence. Do the same thing, have the same negative consequence. Do the same thing, have the same negative consequence. Over and over and over again like that, eventually you're going to go, I should stop doing the thing.
Look,
I don't
man,
think I should keep doing the thing.
not everyone is as smart as you, Derek.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay?
Yeah, smarty
Not
pants,
everyone
nerd.
is as smart as you, okay? Not everyone was doing fucking 10th grade algebra when you're 8 years old, motherfucker.
I am
okay?
not a fan of math. That is not... I mean, I'm not bad at it, but that is not... I'm just saying that's... No, I'm not saying... I'm saying I'm average at math. I am not...
He wants you to know he's smart, okay? He wants you to know he's smart.
God damn it. No! That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying math is not my strong suit whatsoever.
He's good at everything. He's just a little bad at math. He's very smart. Did you guys know that Derek is smart,
For
man?
God's sake. For God's
At
sake.
8 years old, Derek knew how to act in public, especially because he had deer ears.
Antlers.
I do have deer ears.
Derek knows
a deer
exactly
ear.
how it would be to have fucking antlers in public.
I do. No, this motherfucker's got, like, supersonic fucking hearing, and he still doesn't understand how the fuck to be quiet.
So there was one moment that
don't get it.
that it reminded you saying that reminded me of it when they're on the train and he loses dog and he's like, I need to find dog. He was made from Pubba's socks.
Right.
It still smells like him. So you can't fucking smell dog?
Yeah. Right? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
There were a couple of those
Are you
for
gonna
me.
tell me I'm wrong?
Yeah.
Grow up!
Grow up!
That was like the only like, wait a minute.
Yeah, because he could smell...
Humans.
He could smell big man's medicine
Yeah.
inside of several,
Candy.
metallic...
Big man's
Well,
candy.
right. Inside of several metallic containers, like a nesting doll of metal containers. And yet, he couldn't smell feet? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I love that we completely gloss over the fact that Jep is just completely addicted to painkillers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I love that that's just something that we just casually skip over in the sake of storytelling.
Well, his knee's fucked up.
Well, it reminds me of Dark Tower because at one point, the main character is suffering really, really heavily from... I think he had gotten these bites that were infected, and so he had to go through all of this stuff because in his world, they didn't have antibiotics and things like that. And so he had to get them from a totally different world. And so, like, that actually just... That, I understood that. you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Does it go into the comics at all about... Is it just his knee?
So in the comics, Jeopard is a washed up hockey player. And so he...
Oh, he's a white guy too. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I forget it's like almost a completely different character.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't go into why... It doesn't even mention that his knee is bad in the comics.
He's just a pillhead.
Yeah, well, he doesn't even have pills in the
Really?
comics. Yeah,
Huh.
I think it was just one of the things that... I don't know if it shows up later in the comics because I haven't finished reading them,
Yeah.
but as far as I've read, he doesn't there's no mention of him having a bum knee or a bum back or just anything, nor does it mention that he's addicted to pills.
Okay.
He's in the comics, he's just way more obsessed with getting the remains of his wife back. And the moment that he does, he buries her in the home and then decides to just go off into this place they call Factory Town, where you just trade for everything. And so he trades.
So like the marketplace.
Yeah. And so he gets there, trades all his shit. He trades his horse and his rifle to get into the place, and then from there he trades the rest of his shit for a bottle. And then when he gets the bottle, he drinks it. He drinks the whole bottle and tries to pick a fight with somebody. Spits in his face, and they just beat the shit out of him, and he doesn't fight them. He has this whole quote about how he was this fighter, and he's like, that was one thing that I was always good at, was fighting. This was the only thing that I was better at anybody else doing, was fighting. And now I have nothing to fight for. I have nothing more to fight for, and I have no reason to fight. He goes into this whole thing about how his wife was too good for him. She was smart. She was beautiful. She lived in a house with her mom and her grandma, and how he just didn't deserve her whatsoever. And so that's his crutch right now, is him just having this existential crisis because he has no more purpose.
Did the comic version of him, was he a part of The Last Men at all? Or was that also for the show? That
was also for the show, I feel. At least as far as I've read. But yeah, the whole thing of him is having this purpose of getting his wife remains, getting her home, and now that he doesn't, he has zero purpose.
Now that I think about it, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So he's part of The Last Man, but he tried to... So The Last Man's whole bag was extermination, right?
Yeah.
Exterminating the hybrids.
Well, no, the Last Man's bag was collecting hybrids to give to Abbott, so that Abbott could give to Belle, so that she can create more of the cure.
Yeah, so... But what I don't understand is why he would join them. I get survival and all that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what he says in the show.
Yeah, what he says in the show... Sorry, what he says in the show is...
For Jeopard, though, I mean, yeah, he had a hybrid child, but he was also, petrified of that, because he's no different than anyone else, thinking that they may be the cause of this virus.
Yeah.
So, not only did he run away from that, and of course, he does talk later about how it was more that he was scared of being a father in general, too. But, I mean, there was definitely... The hybrid thing was definitely a part of it. But then, yeah, I mean, you've got an apocalyptic... Not even post-apocalyptic. It's going through it. So, you've got this apocalyptic world, and he's just trying to make his way through it. So it's... I mean, he's just one of those dudes that... Not... he didn't take advantage of the situation, but he lived within the system.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Right, and it was definitely as far as the TV show goes, it was he said, it was kill or be killed. He was just trying to find the quickest way to just be okay, well, I can be safe, I can be fed, I can be clothed.
Yeah.
Just going the path of least resistance, I guess I would say. Because in the comics it doesn't mention anything like that. It doesn't mention the Last Men or his involvement with them at all. It was just, hey, and even in the comics, they treat women being pregnant with hybrid babies as more of hooey, and oh, that's not real.
Oh, okay.
It's just no, it's just an old wives' tale that people tell.
People don't die from coronavirus.
Right, yeah, it's just people don't have hybrid babies.
Masks don't help anything.
Right,
those numbers are exaggerated.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
They were already sick with an incurable disease. They were gonna die anyway.
So the first episode sets up a really good mystery, and I think that's what pretty much carries the majority of the story all the way through the 8 hours. Or I guess it's less than 8 hours, but
a little bit.
Little bits.
Episodes 2, 3, and 4 didn't really click with me at all. I felt like it was just kind of going through the post-apocalyptic motions.
Well, I think that's what I was saying earlier about weren't many surprises or twists or like major revelations.
But episode 5 is where it got really good, and I think it's a lot stronger in the second half in terms of this entire season. That's when we start figuring out, you know, things about a possible cure for the sickness, and that's when we find out about Gus's actual lineage and stuff like that. And that stuff was more interesting to me. Like, the world building and everything, I felt like it did its job with its world building, and after that it was like, okay, why do I care?
Right.
And that's where these characters come in. In terms of, like, character arcs, no one really has, like, that great of an arc. Like, it's all kind of just like 0 to 100. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there wasn't much progression. This is just a nitpick for me, but like, Gus goes from like happy-go-lucky kid, you know, super naive, to just this like incredibly jaded, you know, and then obviously he's abducted and everything. So like, he has just like this teeny little arc.
But he's still super naive.
Oh yeah, of course, he's a child.
I'm just saying.
Professor.
I'm just saying.
The one that really kind of bugged me was Bear's arc, because she literally just goes like, I'm this person, and then like one thing happens and she's like, I'm this completely different person.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and she's just like going over it, and I'm like, I don't think you've earned that yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I think really the only two people whose like character arcs really matter the most is Jeopard and Gus. You know, the rest of them are just kind of, the Doctor obviously is going to have his come to moment in the next season because he's going along with all this shit, you know.
Well, he has to.
Well, yeah, he has to. He fucking dissects a weird looking amphibious child, which is really fucked up. But, you know, I don't really see it in terms of how these characters are progressing. It's not really. It's just kind of things are just happening to them.
Yeah. Fun fact about Becky, who is Bear, right? Becky was the name of a prostitute in the comics.
Oh, good.
Jeopard and Gus go into this house, and they find this girl, and then she's like wearing bunny ears, and she's like in a nightgown, and she's like, "Hey, you want to have a good time?"
Snoo.
Yeah. And,
Death by Snoo, yes.
And in the comics, Jeopard saves them, like saves the prostitutes from their pimps or whatever. But it was just crazy how like much of a contrast that was, or if that's even like connected at all, like, or Becky was just one of those names.
So this is a total tangent, but I can't ever hear snoo without thinking about the part where the three of them are chained to the wall and they're like, like just flipping back and forth from happiness to dread.
It's just like, it's like The Last of Us for kids, and it's just kind of weird for me, just because like I'm so used to these types of stories being like very, very dark, you know, and their way of babying it up a little bit just kind of clashed totally for me. But that's just a nitpick. I'm so used to just like The Road and The Last of Us and fucking Fallout and all these things that are just like, just the absolute worst possible situation for everyone involved. Whereas this is like, we still have some sort of structure, like we still have some sort, not like that great of a setting of government, but like we still have something.
Yeah.
You know what
Society
I mean?
still has some cohesion.
Like, and of course, like there are towns like the one where the Doctor lives in, where like they're kind of fucking unhinged because like they don't really know how to handle it.
It's like the Alexandria.
Right.
Yeah, I really like the flowers too, like the symbolism behind the flowers of it, like taking over a town, and it's very obvious that it's not poisonous at all. It's something that happens when the virus interacts with the Earth, you know. So it's like I understand like why it's a big deal, and that's like probably my favorite part of the entire show is how that town interacts and like seeing how that society goes about doing things, like in like the absolute fucking like knee-jerk reaction to anybody being sick with it, where they just immediately deal with it on the spot. Like, I think that's fucking cool as
right,
hell.
because in like other post-apocalyptic viral movies, like they're like, no, don't do it. Maybe we can find something, or maybe we could do something, or like they wait until they turn completely and before they execute them, or whatever.
Kill me before I turn.
Right, or kill me once I die, or whatever, or something like that. But in this one, it's just like, oh, they're showing a minimal amount of symptoms. Fucking burn the whole thing down.
Yeah.
Cole, with what you were saying, I get what you were saying about Bear and the switch flip, as it were. And I think they tried to show it, but it was very, very minimal in terms of time, and so you really couldn't feel it. Like it was tough to connect with it. But I feel like they did try to show that she had this inner turmoil, but like the thing is, she had to make a decision on the spot and go, because she was all for killing Jeb. Like she was. If I remember right, I think she was the first one that said they should kill Jeb, and then once Gus was like, but like he's protecting me, he's my friend, that's when she was like, well, shit, he's doing the same thing we're doing, like that's what we're trying to do, and so it was just such a split second thing that there's really. Like, I don't think there was a better way that they could have tried to show that.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah. It just seemed like a, hey, I'm here too moment where all these characters are having, like, deep,
right,
like, resounding emotional happenstance to them.
Right.
And then this chick's just like, yeah, well, my parents were actually this, It just kind of seemed like...
And I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed like a real, hey, I'm here, don't forget about Bear.
Yeah.
Like, it just seemed like that whole vibe to me. I don't know.
For me, it was the political undertones, because they weren't that bad. Like, they weren't so
overt.
They weren't so overt or present, but they were just right. They were just under there. Like when they go into the marketplace, welcome to Abbott's America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was just nice, because that's something you would expect out of something like this.
It did kind of feel like they took the comic and then just kind of sprinkled it on top of it. And I'm just like, stay in your lane. Like, provide an adaptation that is good and don't involve stupid shit like that. Because, I find myself more and more resistant toward this because it's fucking everywhere and I'm just so tired of it. Like, I don't need to know that a virus is bad. Okay, I get that a virus is bad. I don't, and the whole Abbott's America thing, I get what they're doing. I just find it annoying.
Mm-hmm.
That's really all it is to me. That is definitely a negative in my point, is like, we're coming off of like our own problems where like all of that was very, very real a year ago. And so it still just feels like, this kind of feels like pandemic, like after effects, like to a much lesser degree, we're like doing exactly what Japan did with Hiroshima, like where they're like completely, being inspired by one event to completely make, media afterwards. But it's just annoying to me.
See, the Abbott's America thing, that totally like gave me BioShock Infinite vibes.
Oh yeah.
Like that's totally what I got from that. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so overall ratings.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't name favorite or least favorite character either, but
neither did I. I only did least favorites.
I didn't really encounter that many though. So, but I mean, from what I saw, it was all right. Like I said, I might go back and finish it just so I can like know what you guys are talking about, but I might not. I don't know yet, but it was.
If you're already like halfway invested in it, you might as well just check out the rest of it. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I didn't really get like fully invested until episode 5. So for me, it's like a very solid 7.
I'd go 1 over. I think it's a 8 out of 10. I just really enjoyed the cinematography. I enjoyed the just like the out there feelings of it all. Like
Yeah.
just how out there this is. I didn't even know it existed past this point, and now reading the comic books and looking through it all, like it's so cool. I thought it was really cool, and like there wasn't a dull moment for me. There were slow moments, but there weren't any dull moments.
Yeah.
Right.
I give it 2 thumbs up.
That you can't change the rating system.
I just did.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp.
Deja vu.
I would say 8 out of 10 as well. Because, yeah, I mean, regardless of, what I said earlier about how there were very few surprising moments that I couldn't see coming from a mile away, like I said, they were still really well done, and it was still fully and completely enjoyable.
When does that become a problem for the person? You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like, oh, I saw it coming a mile away. And it's like, well, do you think you're watching too much shit then? Like, do you think you're enjoying too much?
I like, even if I see things coming, I'm still enjoying it. Like Shutter Island, I called that movie in the first 20 minutes.
No,
fucking
you
insane.
didn't.
I did. You're
No,
fucking
you
insane.
didn't.
No, you fucking
I did.
did. Shut up.
No,
I know
you didn't.
On my mama's mama, I called that
Dude.
movie in the first... Ask Yessie.
Dude, that movie had me in fucking twists and turns. Like,
Dude.
my body was like this the whole
No,
fucking
ask
time.
Yessie.
dog.
On my grandmother's grave, bro, I called that movie in the first 20 minutes.
It must have just been a coincidence.
A doubt.
You can doubt it all you
Chris
want.
X.
I did. I called it in the first 20 minutes.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I was just like, watch him just be a...
Hiding that big brain of yours then, huh?
I mean, someone's right sometime.
Yeah.
Like, there's...
Yeah,
everyone's got to be right at least once.
Broken clock, yeah. I don't know. It's a good show, man.
I think so too.
I think it's worth a watch. I actually wanted to recommend it to my mom because I feel like she'd get a kick out of it.
Yeah, and I think that's really why they toned it down. I mean,
For the moms out there.
For the mom.
I mean in general, for kids, moms, the works. But like, I personally, man, I really would have loved to have a dark fucking
Oh yeah,
comic.
if this was dark, like if this was like a one-to-one of the because the comic sounds like an infinitely better story.
Dude, the comics, and it's wild because the art style is very, like, trash art. Like, it's, like, the lines aren't, like, clean and everything's just kind of messy.
Yeah.
Like, it's super good. I
Yeah.
really enjoy it.
See, I love that when the art kind of reflects the message they're trying to get across.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's beautiful.
It's great because, like, nobody's really, like... It's not like a superhero comic where the superheroes are really defined. They're, like, very, like, gangly and skinny and weird. And
Yeah.
Because of course they are.
Like you
Yeah.
would be in a post-apocalypse.
It's super. I really like. I recommend the comic and the show as well. They're both highly different, like very, very different from each other. But the message kind of stays the same, and you see where some of the similarities are. But I really enjoy it. I recommend both.
Yeah, and that would be the fun of consuming both, is just going through the vastly different stories.
Yeah, which is what I did. Or I did the same thing with The Walking Dead.
Oh, okay.
When I watched the first season of Walking Dead, and I was like, oh, I gotta check the books out, and I checked the books out. Some things are the same, and some things are completely different. But it's fun to see where they made those differences.
Yeah. Well, hell yeah.
Well, that concludes our Sweet Tooth episode. We hope you enjoyed it. As always, you can follow us on social media.
On Facebook at the Nerd Corporation, a podcast.
On Twitter and Instagram at Nerdcore Podcast.
Or you can shoot us an email at nerdcorppodcast@gmail.com.
And if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Search the Nerd Corporation and look out for our green NC logo.
And if you want to hear Cole's tasteless joke, subscribe to our Patreon. Patreon.com/Nerdcore Podcast. Several tiers of loot to have access to, from stickers and shirts to extra content and bonus episodes. We'd love to thank our Nerd Corporate backers, Glenn the Simp and Fillmore McLaurin, and our Nerd Financial investors, Kim Nichols and Dallin Gilbert.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dallin. Thank you, Fillmore.
We love you guys.
Aren't all of Cole's jokes tasteless? I thought.
Ah!
Okay,
You
Einstein.
just don't understand comedy, dog.
God damn it.
Shit. If you can't make a monthly contribution, consider supporting us on PayPal, paypal.me/Nerdcore Podcast. We want to have the best loot, the best equipment, and the best merchandise and giveaways for you, and that is the best way to do that. So for the Nerd Corporation, my name is Eddie Lyon.
I'm Cole Simper.
Derek Reese.
I'm Nick Lewis.
And I'm Angela Wooden.
Keep it nerdy, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks.